Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hikmah and I will explain the material that Mr. Amran have given to me. Is second language acquisition theory. There are 5 key hypotheses about second language acquisition. The first is the acquisition learning distinction. Adults have 2 different ways to develop competence in a language. The first is language acquisition. Language acquisition is a subconscious process, not like the way a child learns a language. So, language acquirers are not consciously aware of the grammatical rules of the language, but rather develop a feel for correctness. In non-technical language acquisition is picking up a language. And the second is language learning. On the other hand, refers to the conscious knowledge of a second language, knowing the rules, being aware of them, and being able to talk about them. Thus, language learning can be compared to learning about the language. And the second material is the natural order hypothesis. The natural order hypothesis states that the acquisition of grammatical structures processed in a predictable order for a given language. Some grammatical structures tend to be acquired early, others late, regardless of the first language of a speaker. This does not mean that grammar should be taught in this natural order of acquisition. And the third material is the monitor hypothesis. The language that one has subconsciously acquired intuits our utterances in a second language and is responsible for our fluency, whereas the language that we have consciously learned acts as an editor in situations where the learner has enough time to edit, is focused on form, and knows the rules, such as on grammar tests in a language classroom or when carefully writing a composition. This conscious editor is called the monitor. And the fourth material is the input hypothesis. The input hypothesis answers the question of how a language acquired develops competence over time. It states that a language acquirer who is at level must receive comprehensible input that is at level 1 + 1 we acquire. In other words, only when we understand language that contains structure that is a little beyond where we are now. This understanding is possible due to using the context of the language we are hearing or reading and our knowledge of the word. However, instead of aiming to receive input that is exactly at our 1 + 1 level, or instead of having a teacher aim to teach us grammatical structure that is at our 1 + 1 level, we should instead just focus on communication that is understandable. And the fifth material, or the last material, is the affective filter hypothesis. Motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety all affect language acquisition in effect raising or lowering the thickness or penetration of any comprehensible input that is received. And the conclusion is these 5 hypotheses of second language acquisition can be summarized. The first is acquisition is more important than learning. And the second is in order to acquire 2 conditions are necessary. The first is comprehensible or even better comprehended. Input containing 1 + 1 structures a bit beyond the acquirer's current level. And the second is allow or weak affective filter to allow the input in. Okay, I think enough from me. Thank you very much, and I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and happy watching.